In this video, we are talking about water bottles versus reservoirs. I have to burp. Oh God, I was like really hoping not to do this. No, that's a good one. Okay, we're good.
This is my show, gosh darn.
So in my time hiking and backpacking, I have often switched back and forth between swearing by reservoirs and then like swearing by and only ever using water bottles, specifically Nalgenes. So in this video, I want to share with you my tips and hopefully give you some good ideas to make the right water container decision for yourself. We're gonna start with reservoirs because when I started hiking and backpacking, I swore by a reservoir and I like never would have carried a water bottle with me. I think I probably had read somewhere that like the biggest cause of death in the backcountry is dehydration, and that freaked me out and I didn't want to have that happen to me. So I was just like really concerned about making sure I carried enough water. For me, the main reason for using a reservoir has been just the ease of staying hydrated. Being able to just have the tube going over my shoulder, easily be drinking water the entire time. A reservoir itself is going to be lighter than a lot of water bottles, especially Nalgenes. It's a lot easier to carry multiple liters of water in a reservoir in your pack than it is to carry them in a Nalgene. I think one con to reservoirs is that they freeze a lot faster than Nalgenes. It's also a lot harder to refill my water or to keep track of how much water I've been drinking. I tend to like throw them on the ground and the mouthpiece will just get like covered in dirt and just gets like really dirty really quickly. Like right now, this is like covered in like dog hair. The other downside of a reservoir is that cleaning them is a lot harder than just cleaning a water bottle. I did actually do a video a while ago on how to clean a reservoir. Just because you're only putting water in these, you'll still definitely need to clean them. That takes a little bit more care and consideration than just your standard water bottle. Water bottle. That's a weird water bottle.
Say it again.
Water bottle? Isn't that a weird one? Water bottle. Water bottle. Before I got this Gregory 3D Hydro reservoir, I had an old reservoir that was like really floppy. And my biggest complaint about it was that it was like nearly impossible to shove it down into my full packed backpack. I would like pull the whole thing out of my pack, fill it up, and then it was really hard to put it back into my pack. But then I got this reservoir. Gregory has done this thing where they've made this back panel of the reservoir a lot stiffer, and they have this handle that runs like the full length of the front. And so it's actually way easier to shove this thing down into your pack because it's not gonna be as like floppy and hard to kind of... I'm sorry, we're quiet on set. We're filming here. The other thing is that if I'm taking this reservoir out of my bag to refill, I can actually leave the, here we go, like this. So imagine that this is in my pack. This tube is running up over my shoulder. If I need to refill the reservoir, what I can actually do is just disconnect this tube, leave this attached to my pack, and go and refill this piece. The other thing that's really neat about this is that Gregory has put this hook on the bottom. This makes it really easy to hang and to dry. This reservoir has a piece of plastic, like a divider that runs through the middle of it that helps keep it open, which makes it easier for it to dry out. That's the biggest thing with cleaning a reservoir is you want it to completely dry out before you store it. So this little hanger, as well as that piece of plastic, the stiff back, all of that makes it a lot easier to dry this out, easier to keep it clean, easier to reload it into your pack. Oh, well done, Gregory. Man, if I could date a brand, it wouldn't be Gregory, it'd probably be Nemo. See, I feel like I would like maybe want to date Patagonia, but then like Patagonia would be like too crunchy granola for me. I feel like Arc'teryx, it would be like first date at some place that was like way too fancy and I'd be really underdressed. I would love to date Cotopaxi. Cotopaxi definitely was like coming in hot. And everyone's like, oh, Cotopaxi. Outdoor research is like, flies under the radar as like hella funny and like really badass. This got way off topic. Where are we? Quick overview. Pros of reservoir: easier to stay hydrated and easier to carry more water in your pack. Cons: harder to clean, harder to refill, harder to know how much water you've been drinking, and more likely to freeze or to sweat in extreme temperatures. Boom. If you have listened to all of this like reservoir talk and thought, I definitely don't want to use a reservoir, that is not for me, you're most likely using a water bottle of some kind, probably a Nalgene. I know it's really common in the ultralight backpacking community to use smart water bottles or other non-reusable water bottles just because of their lightweight, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be talking about Nalgenes and other reusable water bottles. As you all might know, I really like making my own dehydrated meals for backpacking, which means that I need to be able to really clearly measure how much water I'm putting into the meal to rehydrate it. And so having a Nalgene that has all of those measurements on the side was really helpful for me to rehydrate my food and just to like measure. Once I was using these, I found that there were a lot of other benefits that I had over a reservoir. One of those being that I could see how much water I was drinking, so I could really clearly track and make sure I was drinking at least 2 to 3 liters of water. It was really easy for me to refill water and filter water into my Nalgene. And also, as someone who gets really cold, I love the fact that I can put boiling water into a Nalgene and use it as a heater. Also a lot easier to clean. You can just throw these in the dishwasher most of the time. And these have a ton of purpose beyond just hiking, just as like daily use water bottles. A lot of people choose not to use Nalgenes because of the actual physical weight of the water bottle. Nalgenes are rather heavy on their own, and when a 1 liter Nalgene is full of water, it actually weighs like 2.5 pounds. If you are using 2 Nalgenes on either side of your pack, you'll have to balance your water consumption out of both of them so you don't have an uneven pack, and most people have to stop for a water break, versus with a reservoir, you can like be continually drinking. At the beginning of this video, I said that after switching back and forth between the two of them, I have finally gotten to a place where I see a purpose for both a reservoir and a Nalgene, and I'll pick one or the other depending on my hike. If I'm going on a trip where I know it's gonna be super cold and below freezing, I'm almost definitely going to choose to use a Nalgene. 1, because they freeze a lot slower than reservoirs do, and 2, because I know at night I can pour boiling water into my Nalgene and use it as a heater. If I'm doing a hike where it's gonna be really strenuous and really hot, then I'm definitely gonna choose my reservoir, just because being able to carry 3 liters of water comfortably, like against my back in my pack, and consistently drinking water is just better to ensure that I stay hydrated on a long hike. There are lots of other water bottles on the market that have a straw lid, or they're like soft water bottles or collapsible water bottles. For me personally, if I'm going to carry a water bottle, it's gonna be a Nalgene. I swear, water bottle sounds absurd. It sounds like not a word. I hate it. It feels bad in my mouth. Water bottles versus reservoirs, the great debate. Hopefully this has given you some tools for deciding which one is gonna be best for you. Like I said at the beginning of this, I have definitely come to the conclusion over a decade that there is a purpose for both of them. If you do have your favorite system for how you carry water for hiking or backpacking, or if there's any tips that you think I missed, let me know in the comments below. And as always, like this video, subscribe to the Miranda in the Wild channel, subscribe to the REI channel, and I will see you all in the wild. Bye.
So water bottle 10 times fast.
Water bottle, 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 water bottle.